it's possible that both the painting work and the video work could be a fail. But it is what I have to share today, and yeah, it's long, and this is a good time to remind everybody that YouTube has provided us a special gift of speed controls, and it is possible to go to the settings tab and change the speed from normal to up to twice as fast. And that, if you decide you want to try to watch the whole video, that may be the best way to approach it. Uh, if anybody has time to watch any of it, I'm grateful and I appreciate it. And there's more to the story that I didn't quite tell yet. The spoiler, though, that I should say first is that, as far as I know, I do know that I am the only one who got hurt. Everybody else was okay. Thanks for watching. Well, for some reason, I was having a terrible time trying to get started today, and I wasn't sure why. I may still not know why, but I have a theory, so let's see if I can sort it out while we work on this paint. I've got a couple of super cheap Dollar General brushes here, and we're going to put a little bit of this navy blue in, and I'm going to experiment with what I said I was going to do. Yeah, why is that so hard, right? I said I was going to sand some of the letters and a part of the design, and I was going to leave some of it not unsanded and paint both so that I could then see when I sand it all which ends up looking better, so that I know what to do on the other side, the real side now, and the other boards. And maybe part of it is that I just really want to do a good job on this for my daughter and my fast developing grandson, who's expected to be with us pretty soon. And then I started to wonder, well, what if it's more than that? Because why is it such a problem today? And I began to wonder about the number. I'm not sure which one is going to be better here. I think I'm going to start with this one. It's too wide that way, but it's very narrow that way, and I'm going to try to get really in the grooves and not outside if at all possible. And can't mess this up. It's already the side that's not going to be used, so let's just try it, which is also part of the reason why has it been so hard. I've been sitting thinking and watching other videos for hours now, and I just couldn't get going. But I'm going to try, and I began to wonder, what if it has something to do with today's number? Today is day 88 of working on this, and 88 has a significant part to play in my life. 1988 was in the journal that I started at the beginning of the year. I was doing a lot of journaling back then, trying to write some songs, trying to write some poetry, some monologues, trying to think about trying to be a writer. And at the beginning of 88, I thought, visualized the 88s as being on their sides, and it was the year of double infinity. Yeah, that is a little dramatic, but I just thought it was going to be a year of great opportunity and potential. I was getting ready to graduate from college, my undergrad, and I thought the world just was looking like it was all lined up. And actually, with a youth group that I was working with, I had done a teaching series using the Timbuk 3 song, The Future's So Bright, I Gotta Wear Shades. Still love that song. And that was what I thought the world was shaping up to be. And I had a little side business going. I was working for A.L. Williams, selling term life insurance, trying to be a Don Quixote going against the windmills, a David trying to go against the Goliath of the big insurance industry, and thought I was doing a good thing for people. Thought that maybe I was going to be able to take care of my family with that. And yeah, future's so bright, gotta wear shades. The year of double infinity. And hey, I was even driving a Mazda RX-7 back then. I had a 63 Corvair convertible that I'd bought with some cheap student loan money. And, just seemed like everything was pretty amazing. And as part of trying to develop the business, one of the things I needed to do was get licensed to sell securities, because the idea behind all that was whole life insurance, which this is something I still believe, by the way, that whole life insurance is just a terrible investment, and that it would be much better to buy cheap term life insurance. This is a very common, widely understood reality now, but back then it was, thought of, it was marketed by people that sold universal life and whole life as being a way to take advantage of people, just sell them term life insurance, no savings in it. But what we learned and what we were marketing was the idea that you buy term very cheap, and then you take the money you would have spent on whole life or universal life and invest it in mutual funds or something else. So one of the things I needed to do was get my securities license so that I could sell mutual funds. And we had a couple that supposedly were going to do really well. So this was in Joplin, Missouri, and the place to take the test was in Springfield, Missouri, about an hour and a half away. So I set my appointment and was going to go and take the test, and if I passed the test, then boy, things were really lining up. I was going to be selling securities and really, really helping people. And this was the day before my 25th birthday. So I was excited about my birthday happening, and boy, I was really making my way in the world. I was going to be 25 years old, ready to get my degree, and on my way with a job where I was really going to be making a positive difference for people. And I drove up to Springfield and got there on time and sat down, and as has always been the case with me, for whatever reason, it's definitely one of the strange things about me, I've always enjoyed taking tests. And so I didn't feel too intimidated, but I was nervous because I wanted it to go well, wanted to make it work, and took the test. And it was, fairly early in the computerization of a lot of business, but it was a test that you take on a computer, and so you'd find out immediately if you passed or not. And took the test and hit the button on the last thing to turn it all in, and up comes the results. And I passed. Got a decent score. And I was incredibly excited. Just thrilled. And was looking forward to going home and being able to report that I'd passed the test and we were going to be on our way. And I pulled out of the testing facility and got out on one of the main thoroughfares in Springfield. Not yet to the interstate, but out on one of the big highways, and was just really excited, very happy, looking forward to taking the next step, maybe getting a promotion at the business and start making some real income. And there I am in my RX-7, cruising down the boulevard, and I looked down to change the radio station, and then I looked back up, and I was almost in the middle of an intersection, and the light to me was red. And there was traffic in the middle of that intersection, and I slammed on the brakes, and it wasn't enough, and a huge four-wheel drive Dodge Ram truck, Detroit steel, was coming through the intersection, and I put the nose of that RX-7 straight into the front driver's side wheel of that truck and smashed it, and smashed myself a bit. Later, when we went to see about the car, get a few things out of it, saw that the nose of the RX-7, if you remember those, this was like, I don't know, an 82 or 79 maybe, 79 RX-7, I think. And had bought it was buying it from a friend at work, just giving him payments. And we went to see it, knowing that now this vehicle that I had smashed and had only liability insurance on still had to be paid off, and I had about $5,000 to go on that thing. But when we saw the car, the nose of the RX-7 was just, it was like a boxer's nose that just got smashed in the ring. This bullet point was basically a right turn, just smashed over almost completely to the right, almost looked like the letter lowercase r. And there was no hope for that car. I had double infinity that car into not existing anymore. Oh boy, there's still some dust in there. That's not what I need it to be doing. Yeah. So also noticed that checked the steering wheel and could see that at whatever point the impact was about to happen, I had tried to stop the car so much that the steering wheel was bent almost flat to the dash. The top half of the steering wheel was bent almost straight down, from being parallel with the rest of the wheel to almost being at 90 degrees to the rest of the steering wheel. And part of what happened in the wreck was that I was was trying to stop so much and pressing so hard, but I don't think I was speeding, but I just had normal, in town driving speed, and the impact of smashing into that truck just catapulted me forward in the seat, and I bounced my head off of the windshield. And yeah, this is not getting down into the grooves very well, but it's okay. This is the experiment. Just trying to see what we can do with it. And I have a scar on my head that I will take to my grave. That is a check mark. I have a check mark on the top of my head. That is the scar left from my celebratory lack of awareness in a busy intersection, which resulted in totaling a car and taking my year of double infinity into a place of infinite confusion. So, you know how these things go, probably. You've had an experience, you might be able to relate to this. It certainly seemed like it was a disaster that might not be recoverable. $5,000 of debt is a lot for a lot of people, and it seemed like it was just life destroying in my financial situation. And so I pretty much thought that things were ruined. And I tell you, I really lost my momentum. I had my securities license, but I had put myself in a huge hole, and honestly just had lost so much self-confidence and drive and enthusiasm for life as an opportunity that it, along with a couple of other disappointments with that job, it just never really went anywhere. And it was a year of my college graduation. I got 2 undergrad degrees, and thought that I was going to be starting out my life of ministry, and sure seemed like I had messed everything up. It was a fascinating day the next day when I met some family for my birthday celebration, and I had mummy wrap around my head where I don't think I got stitches. It was kind of just a pop open thing, but had a big bandage on the top of my head, and my head was wrapped with kind of one of the adhesive gauze kind of bandages, and I just looked a total mess. And family was great. They were trying to encourage me. Everything's going to be all right. And all right or not, I don't know, but it obviously wasn't the end of the world. But 1988's always been a very important year in my life. Not necessarily a fun year, but very important year. And I really got thinking tonight. I'm doing my 88th video, and 88 is a number that has a meaning to me, for me, that is very mixed at best. So I don't know, maybe that's some of it. I just this is going to get out late tonight, in part because I really just couldn't get myself going. So I appreciate the chance to share a little bit with you, and hopefully um, make it clear that there are some very significant struggles that can happen in our lives. Sometimes, like in my case, self-inflicted wounds and problems that do not necessarily make life's prospects seem as bright as we might think, and yet there's still blessings to be grateful for in the midst of all of that. And I don't think I was very good at counting blessings for that part of my life and through a lot of my life. And that's one of the reasons I'm trying to do these videos, and probably say that I'm blessed and grateful more than some people really necessarily want or need to hear. But it's not great there. Let's just go ahead and fill that in nice and heavy, because it is going to get sanded down. And once again, I thought, boy, I thought I didn't use too much paint, but I've got way too much in there, it looks like. I don't know if this will be an encouragement or not. I really hope it will be. And I wonder if anyone can relate to this and maybe has their own story to share about a problem, in my case, a problem that I made for myself. I didn't need to be looking down and changing the radio station on my car while I was on the was it Cherry Creek Parkway? But I was not focused. I was thinking about pretty much everything except driving and watching for traffic and traffic lights. And the celebration time over the test was very short-lived. But here we are today, and there's a grandson, Lord willing, to be born in August, and a couple of beautiful, smart, funny, accomplished daughters that joined us in this life years later. And eventually the car got paid off, and the student loans got paid off, and we were able to move on to other challenges. And there were plenty of them, but 1988 was a doozy. Oh, I don't have that in the shot, do I? Let's see if I can get that up in the camera. That's a little better. There we go. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for anybody that has experience with acrylic paints and gesso and decorating wood with those things. What are you seeing that I'm totally messing up, or could have made much easier if I just known a little better how to do it? This will be set to dry overnight, and then we'll do some sanding tomorrow, I think. I don't think I can get to the workshop tomorrow. I think there's Cousin Carol's got company tomorrow, I think, and so it's just not helpful for me to clog up her driveway with my vehicle. So I don't think I'll be going to the shop tomorrow, and so I may or may not get to sand this then. And actually, I almost did some video of this. I've got an incredible pile of pallets that needs to be broken down. There's a lot of wood still all stuck together out beside the RV, and I really need to break it down. So that may be something that I'm doing tomorrow, along with maybe working on that fence gate project for some friends of mine from church. I need to make sure that the wood mites are no longer with us. So I may do a couple of things tomorrow that set the signpost project aside. But that'll give it time to dry even more, I suppose. You may have noticed that I am painting a section that has no gesso in it, because I wanted to experiment with whether or not the gesso was really even needed. Now, this, I believe, is poplar wood, and it could be that the other types of wood that I've got to work with, some oak, I think, and some just pine, it could be that different types of wood need the gesso and others don't. So I'm trying the paint here also because I want to see what kind of difference it makes to just go straight on the wood. Kind of like how it's laying down. Yeah, if I would be a little more patient and not get it outside the groove, that would be good too. Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm not sure that it's making any difference. I should have cleaned the grooves out better. I can see an awful lot of dust still in it. And I thought I had cleaned them, but not well enough. So I'm not going to just keep going. It does look like it's going to turn to a slightly different shade without the gesso. Let's see. Fill this in. Yeah, part of the situation that I have is just trying to be as careful as possible. And it's not been easy to know what to go ahead and spend money on and what I needed to just do without. I don't think the Dremel bit that I used for this was very good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try and get some more out of there. Oop. But it's what I had, and that's okay. Let's just use what we've got. That's part of the blessing, is the fact that I've had a lot of these things for a long time, as I've mentioned in previous videos, and just some of them I have used. I've had some things all the way back to the 90s, when I had a little workshop set up in my garage, but I didn't. I was going to say I didn't have enough time, but I really think it's better to say I didn't make enough time to actually try and use them and learn them well. I used them, but it was very utilitarian. It was just, okay, I got something I'm working on, and just going to be kind of quick and dirty, and there wasn't a whole lot of craftsmanship. It was just, okay, I need something and I'm going to try to make it real quick. So another challenge with doing the videos now and trying to do these things is really feeling like an awful lot of time has gone by, and how much time do I really have but to try and make the most of the opportunities, but at the same time not missing the chance to just take my time, try to learn the best I can, and not rush through anything. So it's not a ton of amazing content here, just the simple reality that sometimes I can do things that go fairly quickly, and sometimes I just have to slow down. Could that be an encouragement? I hope. Maybe trying to affirm the idea that slowing down sometimes is not a bad idea. I don't know. I try to rush through an awful lot of things. How about you? I think the fact is, taking a extra time to practice and learn, we can often end up with things that we thought wouldn't take as long, but they might actually end up better in the long run if more time is taken. So, trying to not be self-conscious about the fact that a lot of other people can do a lot better work, and they can do it a lot faster, and they can get a lot better results, but maybe it's because they've taken a lot of time to go slow and really learn. I want to encourage you, if you're while I get outside the lines again, that if you've got a project that you're working on, or that something that you're intimidated about trying to start or do, or a big change in life that is seems like it's a long way from being completed, or seems like there's not a lot of understanding about what's the best way to proceed, that at least you aren't going as slow as me, maybe. Oh boy, almost hurts. This is the non-Bob Ross video on Dead End Street, and I am thankful to God that by His grace I might grow into a happy little tree, because I sure can't paint one right now. All right, that is probably enough for the test to see how it's going to turn out. I'm probably going to paint a little bit more, but that is enough of what I need to share today. It's a lot of years between 1988 and 2023, and I could question a lot of things about myself in the intervening years. But one thing I don't question is that the claim that is made loud and clear in Scripture, that God loves me, God loves us all, and He wants the best for us, and the best for us is a relationship with Him. And I want to encourage you to know that that is something that doesn't have to be doubted or questioned or taken too fast, or worried about that if it's going too slow, because it's in His time, and He will make all things new at some point, and that can include us if that's what we choose for ourselves by walking with Him. Thanks for watching. If you've watched all of this, you deserve an award, and you deserve riches beyond your wildest dreams, which I cannot provide, but it is a privilege to get to share a little bit and to also get to be doing this and see if I can make something that my family can really enjoy. Thanks for watching.